Well, first operator error of the day is we were going to have a nice walk around the beach to the far side of Lulworth Cove. The bloody tide's right in. The 53rd, the penultimate day of our Southwest Coast Path adventure is starting off with what can only be described as a bang. So, we both got wet feet, we've taken local advice, and we're dodging rock falls as we go.
I'm sure there's people over there saying, look at those two crazy idiots scrambling underneath the cliffs over there.
Yes, I would have to agree with them. So let's keep moving. You can't help but admire the steeply dipping chalk, because there's a little bit ahead that looks a bit, not sure we can get round it. Just one bit and then it's freedom. Well, I'm at a place with Andy of some geological pilgrimage. This is the famous Lulworth fossil forest, and it's a rare treat to see this place. And I'm homing in on the much photographed mound of algae that grew around a Jurassic tree, a Jurassic conifer tree, would you believe? 150, 160 or so million years ago. And here it is. It's often regarded as the textbook example of the mound of algae, a little bit shaped like a polo mint. It's the first visit of Andy to the fossil forest.
I don't recollect coming here before, no, so I don't think it was on the school geology field trip agenda. So this is all new to me, and thrilling it is. Did I say that with enough?
You said that with passion.
Enough conviction. Yeah.
Well, Lulworth Cove and the fossil forest done. So that was magnificent. So we'd had a very geological start to the penultimate day on the Southwest Coast Path, the day of increasing emotion, I guess. That mix of being daunted because this is graded as a severe walk today by all the guidebooks, or two of them, and thrilled as well because there's nothing more exciting or thrilling than a demanding walk when it's ahead of you. You gradually change your mind on that as the day progresses, I can assure you, but the sense of satisfaction at the end is just marvellous. Tinged with, there's no doubt about it, when we get to Matravers later on, tinged with a feeling of, well, we're well into the beginning of the end, and tomorrow, all things in our favour, hopefully, we'll finish the mighty Southwest Coast Path, all 630 official miles of it. Heading east. Our quarry is in sight, which is St Albans Head, or St Adalm's Head, which has nestling a mile or so inland from it the delightful little Dorset village of Matravers. Well, plenty of this sort of thing around here. We're just on the south side of the Lulworth firing ranges, and we'll be south of them for quite some way. Very mixed feelings about these things. I'm aware of the fact that the Lulworth firing ranges are world recognised, world class. You have to ask yourself the question, world class in what? Training soldiers and officers to slaughter their fellow human beings in the most bloody way imaginable. And this is the last of the great firing ranges we've crossed on the Southwest Coast Path. Chickerell, Weymouth, not too far away, firing range. Tregantle down in Cornwall, South Cornwall. golf course, then firing range. I'm not sure which is the most deadly to walk across. And then up on the north coast, a couple of firing ranges there. And an ending amount of land put aside for military and spooks as you walk on the coast path. And I have to say, all to what avail. Boys' toys, posh boys' toys. Very ambivalent about it. Well, we're heading into the majestic Warbarrow Bay, and it really is a sight to behold. I think I'm going to need my walking poles shortly to make that climb up onto the chalk down. Very similar to what we did yesterday. Big walk up over that down, then we drop all the way down towards shore level, and then back up again, down again on the far side, and then up again towards Kimmeridge Bay and Chapman's Pool, which we might, well, I hope Kimmeridge easily by lunch. And then the end of our walk, that big headland in the distance. Well, I don't know about Radar Hill. We've definitely done Bindon Hill, and it's so steep you can't even see it. So that's Bindon Hill done. We've now got to go all the way down to a big bottom called Arishmel, or Arishmel. If you say it quickly, it sounds like Harry Smells. No, I don't mean that at all, Harry, if you're watching this video. Arishmel. So we drop down there. I can see some magnificent strip lynchets ahead. There's a fort on top of the next hill, which is called Rings Hill. My word, what a splendid spot. We've just had the report of a geological find.
The first fossil I've found on this trip, found made of ironstone, and it's a belemnite. Steve reckons it's a live ammunition. I did find it in my leg, and there was a searing pain when I found it, but I'm still sure it's a belemnite.
And he's been shot by those bastards in the military camp. That is very scary. So that is most definitely a bullet. You bloody wouldn't want that coming at you at hypersonic speed, would you?
No.
Very sharp point.
Pointy bit.
Well, that's Lulworth camp, walking fans. That's where they spend their time blasting guns, learning how to blast all sorts of different guns, from small arms through to guns that will probably send a shell across to France. And Andy reckons some of the craters here are the French firing back. So there's the obvious firing ranges there, and in the right hand side of the frame now is Lulworth Castle. But who cares about stately homes? I care about stately geology. That's what we've got ahead, walking fans. And magnificent, isn't it? That's Rings Hill, and we're now on top of Bindon Hill and going down. Feels very tranquil here, just sheltered by the coastal ridge, which I'm just in the lee of. And the big drop is down into Arishmel, or Arishmel. So you go all the way down to there, and then up a not too bad slope. You have the option by the looks of it to go around on the contours if you want to, but we'll be staying left, I think, and heading all the way up onto a rather impressive, almost volcano profile hill called Rings Hill. And I want to ring its number. Sorry about that, walking fans. Doing a little piece to camera at Arishmel. Andy and me have been walking for a couple of hours now. Rather depressingly, we've only walked just over 3 miles, and we've still got a long way to go on this severe day. So, stopping at a picnic table for a cup of coffee. Well, as I was saying before, so rudely interrupted by a battery outturn, 400 plus feet up at this hill fort, and I'm just mystified. completely mystified. And I'm mystified by something really obvious. Where the hell do they get water from? Because there's sure as hell isn't any up here, so other than a comprehensive system of rain butts, it really means sending the serfs of the settlement in the Iron Age times all the way down to the valley bottom with plenty of vessels, maybe skins, sheep's bladders, goodness knows what, all the way down to the valley bottom, collect water there from the running streams and lug the bloody stuff all the way back up again. Frankly, a bit of a bore. They were tough folk in those days. Had a lovely Iron Age ditch behind me, a little bit further uphill to go. This must, not sure if this is the other rampart or it's part of a double system of defences, but hell of a spot this. Haven't spotted the barrow yet. So this is the sermon on the round barrow or embankment or rampart, and Mr. Donaghy is about to spew forth. Oh, I just did a descent like no other. So a couple of civilians ahead that I had to get past, and Andy suddenly decided to go off piste, went off the path to the side, and I followed in hot pursuit, and I did an impeccable slalom run. So I used my poles and I planted them downslope and I pivoted around them, and do you know what? It was awesome. And my knees feel fucked. And then I feel great. So my knees feel great, and that's a bit of a result doing that. I so enjoyed that. So we're getting to the end of Wheelbarrow Bay now, and going down to a low point, no doubt, to go straight bloody back up again. The coast path continues to deliver. Well, I'm on the ascent from Wheelbarrow Bay up Gold Down, I think it is. The severity of today's walk continues, but magnificent, isn't it? Just magnificent. I'm in that funny part of Dorset which is largely military range, and away to the left of me, hunkered down in the valley, is Tyneham, the village that was abandoned so they could practice for tanks and all that sort of thing in this area, and shelling for World War II, I think. And everybody who lived there, not very many, were shunted out, never to return. And you can wander around it now, as I've done in days gone past, and enjoy wandering around a ghost town. And apparently yesterday we walked right by a medieval version of the same, somewhere near Ringstead, and I completely neglected to find it. I'll just have to do this all over again. Well, Andy and me have come off the chalk now. We're on the Portland Stone Ridge, heading for Kimmeridge Bay, which is down below us. And immediately below us you can see the stunning ledges, submarine reefs, the dark foreboding cliffs of Kimmeridge Clay. There's actually a shale and a limestone, and the shale is full of dead organic matter, and it's from these rocks that the wealth that Britain has created from the North Sea oil and gas, and also a big onshore oil field here, comes from this rock. So this black stuff, that's the source rock for the oil and gas reserves that Britain has blessed with being blessed with having. Don't get me started on energy prices, walking fans. I could lead into a rant for the day, and I'm not in the mood for a rant for the day at the moment, because this really is a quite magnificent day's walking, and it's exceeded my expectations for this stretch. I felt I knew it pretty well from all the field trips I've done in the past, but I've seen a whole new different side to it in the last 2 days, and it's a side that frankly I like very much indeed. So Kimmeridge Bay, beautiful place to come as one of your first ever geological experiences. So I bought, as I say, generations of Richmond and Kingston students here and loved every single trip. So if you were in any doubt about my earlier remarks about being on the oil bearing and gas bearing rocks of Britain, this should disabuse that. This is the Kimmeridge well site, all fenced off. It's venting off some gases there, tanks and pumps and goodness knows what else, which are taking the oil that's being pumped up by the Kimmeridge nodding donkey. Isn't that marvellous? So how satisfying is that, walking fans? That's the close-up view of Pentag, it says. Sounds a bit Welsh. This is the Kimmeridge nodding donkey pumping up oil from down below. Afternoon, walking fans. We're at Clavel's Tower. We're about halfway on our day of severe walking. And just for the record, this is the 99th walk that Andy and me have ever done, or since records began in autumn 2020. Tomorrow will be the 100th, the final day on the southwest coast path. Been a tremendous walk today. For some odd reason, the unfriendliness factor is much higher today than it normally is. Cheerful greetings have not been the norm, which is quite irritating. Apart from that, it's a day of fantastic walking. We've been up and over some pretty mighty 400 or 500 foot hills, and we've probably got a few more still to do. I'd like to think the worst of it's over, but I've said that before and been hopelessly wrong. So let's hope it eases off a bit, but whatever the coast path throws at it, we're up for it. Andy reckons, and I think he's right, that this is now a rentable out property, probably an Airbnb. And handsome as it is, it means that it's fenced off and I couldn't get in there. My plan was to get to the Clavel Tower and to sit on it and have my lunch. And I've been thwarted. And it made me unreasonably angry as I approached it. So Andy and me are at the base of another quite spunky climb to do in our severe day. It's hard going, mid-afternoon, you really feel it now. And this is classic bit of coast path walking we're doing now. We've got a stonking great hill to do, and what the coast path does to you is takes you right down to base level. So we've just descended a set of steps and we're at the base of another set of steps, and it's all up from here. And I haven't made any videos or taken any photographs for quite some time because frankly it was a bit boring, the bit we did. Photogenically, light-wise, but I'm going to get up high and stop and take a view back of the remote, bleak, dark, somewhat uninspiring stretch we've just done from Clavel's Tower. So we're climbing the monumental edifice of Hound's Tout, or is it Hound's Toot? So I need my Dorset walking fans to advise me on the pronunciation. I know from my Cornish advice team that it's Pray Sands, not Pra Sands. So is it Hound's Toot or Hound's Tout? Or Hound's Toot? Well, Andy and me have walked all that today. The last hour or so, hour and a half, has been quite tedious. Not a lot to look at, quite remote. Just needed to get done and it's been done. We're now at the top of Hound's Tout. Well, that was a hard slog. Andy's still on it, but that was hard, but marvellous. And we're in the last quarter of this severe walk. And severe it is. Marvellous. Done it, walking fans. Did that sucker. Hard. But I feel so exhilarated now. That was fantastic. Now we've got this to do. Oh my God. We're in a pretty amazing spot. We're on a big headland called St Albans or St Adelm's Head. We're not quite at the tip of the headland. I'm looking back west. Down below us is Chapman's Pool, and looking all the way back to where we've walked, all the way back towards Lulworth, and in the very far murky distance Weymouth. And if I just come round this isolated place, but rather a splendid small memorial, and it's a memorial to the Royal Marines, in which Stan Bennett served, my dad. Despite what I might say about modern military matters, there's no denying the respect that I have, and most folk do, for the people who did what they needed to do, I suppose, back a long time ago now, getting close to 100 years ago. The terrible wars of the 20th century, when we couldn't find a sensible way to resolve the differences between ourselves, and resulted in the mass slaughter of far too many people. Places like this are all the more poignant, really, for that. They're simple. To get here, you've had to walk wherever you've come from a pretty long way, pretty hard walking, and I like that. I like the sentiment, rest a while and reflect, that we who are living can enjoy the beauty of the sea and the countryside. So say all of us. That's almost a fitting epitaph, final words for Andy and my walking of the southwest coast path, which we're on our penultimate day of doing. Tomorrow we finish.
As you said, it's just a shame that human beings behave the way they do, that require you to have people to give their lives for the rest of us.
I heartily agree. If you're going to have a memorial, this is as fine a place as you could ever have one. Well, Andy and me are joyfully walking along what we thought was a plateau, approaching St Albans Head, and to my utter disbelief, there is what can only be described as a fucking huge valley. So we've now walked about at least 15 miles. We're both completely knackered, and we thought, oh blimey, we've cracked it now. Just get to St Albans Head, walk round the headland, it's lovely and flat. Oh no. So we've got at least one more bastarding valley to do on this day, which we were warned, it's graded severe, and severe it is, right to the sodding end. Marvellous. It has echoes of Boscastle and the Hillsborough Steps, where I counted every fucking one, I think was my precise description. I don't think I could even bring myself to film them. They're absolutely appalling, relentlessly straight. And before we get to them, of course, we've got to go steeply down, and we're just at the beginning of that. You're having a laugh, Coast Path.
5 to 5.
It's 5 to 5. It should be crackerjack. Look, got to go all the bloody way down to get to the far side, which is a couple of 100 yards away, and go all the way up again. Fuck. Well, descent mode achieved. We've come down into this sharp valley. We're now going to go up, and I don't know who it is, but it looks like at the top the angel of death is waiting.
I reckon he's got a sign.
He's the Reaper. So goodness knows what he's doing, but I'm getting Boscastle, Pentargon, Hillsborough Steps reboot. So I may not be talking for a little while, walking fans. Off we go. St Albans Steps done, and that was a challenge. It's 5:05. That, we think, is the last challenge of that type for today. We both hope so, because that's kind of enough already now. So we were told, severe it's been. This is up there with the hardest legs we've ever done. In beautiful, what you think of as benign Dorset coast in the Isle of Purbeck. Anything but, that's hard. That's a very hard walk from Lulworth Cove through to Matravers. We've got a little bit more coast path walking to do before we turn inland for a sit down in Andy's car, thank goodness. A little chapel to St. Aldham. Frankly, I care not a jot who he was. It would have been a he. They nearly always are. Probably Celtic. Maybe from Wales. A lot of them seem to be. Cute little building. But I don't know. I've had a fucking enough of saints. And the nonsense that goes with them. It's all made up tomfoolery, fairy stories. Exploiting labour from the poor and owning vast tracts of land from which they take an income. Church don't do it for me, never has done, never will do. Do I like the buildings? Yes, I do. From a point of view of aesthetics, I like them. But from what they represent, I loathe them. Sorry about that, religious fans, but I make no apologies for my personal opinions. This is the face of exhaustion. Beautiful walk today, but brutal. That is up there with the toughest we've done, and I'm completely and utterly spent. And we're still not back at the fucking car. Nearly there. Just coming into the village of Matravers. So that's a face of exhaustion, walking fans. Happy but tired. Leg 53, the 48 3/4 days full-time equivalent walk. The 99th that Andy and me have done. So tomorrow, for us, we will complete, all being well and good, the entire southwest coast path. What an adventure. And today has been a real reminder in the fact that this is not a walk in the park. This is a physical challenge. It starts off in your brain, actually. So walk, leg 53 is done. And so am I.